Hi there, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from Key Largo. I'm here with Jenna Kelly. Say hi, Jenna.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, take that music off right now. It's episode 185. The Lady's Taken.
We're getting up there. 185?
185. I think it's, 185. So The Lady's Taken.
The Lady is Taken.
Yeah, it was this week at the bar. We had a couple come in. They were a Keys couple. I'm sure they don't listen, so I know some people. If you're listening to a podcast, normally you shouldn't. But you know what? If you do something really weird, it's going to show up.
Here's the thing, we're going to have locals that we mention and people that we know. And don't take offense to anything we say. This is a comedy. It's supposed to be funny.
I know,
so
but we can't say anything to our friends. We're not going to say this stuff about our friends.
Absolutely not. So, remember, it's funny. It's supposed to be funny. I'm not going to say
these people's names. So they come in. They're sitting outside, and the woman's one of our regulars, and she's with a man, and she goes, "Oh, this is my husband. He works in Central Florida. He's down here for 2 weeks." And she says his name is so-and-so. Right? And he goes, and he introduces himself. My name's so-and-so, and this is my wife, so. And he goes and looks at me. I said, I know so-and-so. And he goes, well, she's taken. And I looked at her, and she's...
Oh, so you're basically saying, I know Mrs. So-and-so, because she's a regular, but you didn't really want to say that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I said that.
Okay. And then he was just like, well, she's taken.
She's taken, but I'm not grading myself on a high scale or something like that. I was listening to a thing, but she wasn't necessarily the natural kind of woman I would go after.
Okay.
It wasn't like she was a supermodel. I'm not saying she's a supermodel or anything like that. I'm saying I'm not going to say anything.
She just wasn't your typical taste.
Wasn't my taste. So I looked at the guy and I said, she is a very lucky woman. Right? So, I went out, and I think at one point, Molly, the owner's daughter, who's younger than 18, she ordered drinks for him. But she can't take them because she's under 18.
Right.
So I ran over, and oh man, I think I threw my cigars away. They were in that plastic bag.
Oh, I'll go get them. You keep talking. Keep talking about.
So, she orders drinks, and I go walking out with the drinks. And I notice he starts grabbing her. And he says, he's going holding her real close. And I go, thanks for the drinks. And he goes to me, honey. And I think he's expecting her to bring the drinks out, even though I'm deceptively much different than Molly is. And, Molly's all 5'5" and maybe 90 pounds. And I'm 6'4", 230. And he calls me honey, and I said to him real quick, I looked at him and I said, hey, you're all right, sweetheart. And I licked my lips. I ran my tongue.
You are my mouth. So wrong.
I did. It was great. And I looked at him. And at that point, he let go of his woman, and he just wrapped his arms around himself. Like he was in a shower with a bunch of guys, and he was just...
he got all defensive in
Yeah, he thought maybe he was going to be violated. But I always thought that was really interesting with people. I broke my cigars already. That's good. Maybe I shouldn't smoke them.
Did I break them when I threw them away? I didn't mean to throw them away.
No, that's mine. That's my fault. I should have taken them out before I did.
No.
That's another sign I shouldn't be smoking, Maybe we can have...
Well, just break that one. There you go. You get a short cigar.
Yeah, a short one.
Just be careful. Watch out for your eyebrows.
I need them burn off.
I think that you're trying to light that in the wind. Mm-hmm. And then got to switch that up a little bit. So basically, this guy was overprotective of his wife, who he only sees a couple times a month, I'm guessing.
I think that's a sign of weakness.
And then, I
always think that's a sign of weakness when someone...
Like they don't have the confidence in their
they're smothering
relationship.
Their person, or, right. They're just like, they're all over him. I said, man, this... But I didn't first see a scenario where a bunch of guys are going to be coming at this guy and his woman. And once again, I did not describe this woman. No, I don't think I need to.
No, I don't think so.
I did not foresee a situation where he had to be defensive.
Be concerned. Right.
And I've been out to date with some, I think, very attractive women, and guys sometimes are total douchebags about violating space. You're on a date, and then you go over and, the guy starts, trying to send a drink over to someone.
Oh, yeah.
I drink the drinks. I would take them. I said, listen, I'll pay for your drinks. I'm drinking this one. Okay?
Right.
And I thank the guy and goes, hey, thanks a lot. And I pick up the drink, and he goes, that was for her. And I said, well, I'm buying her drinks.
Right.
You don't need to do that.
Thanks for buying me one.
Thank you for buying me one.
Right.
And if she gets upset by that, she wants to drink, I think you can go home with him then.
Oh, there you go.
I know it sounds like it. I'm not much of a dick about anything else.
It really doesn't.
But I do respect when you're out that night. You're out. You always see in the movies when someone's with someone, and kind of, if you don't like the guy and stuff, you're going to leave. And just say the date's over, go your different ways and stuff like that. That's fine.
I think I'm on your side with this one.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I was being too strong.
No.
That's my point of view. At that point, it doesn't mean I don't believe if I buy you dinner and pay you drinks that you owe me anything. You don't owe me any nookie or anything whatsoever.
Nookie.
Yeah.
No unhappy customer ever.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when you're out with me, you're out with me.
Right.
Not out with the next person, and I think that goes for guys too. That being said, I met one of my girlfriends when I was out on a date.
Yeah.
But I was out with a married woman, so she was already taken anyway.
Good God.
Oh, I was. I was on a date with a married woman. I told you the story once, I think. Did you ever see it? Wait, do I need to put this down further?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was out on a date with a married woman, and I did that 3 times.
Yeah.
But that's not a lot, considering how many times that.
Yeah, well, that's very true. But
that's less than.
But what was
than 2%.
What was the reasoning? Was she unhappy? Unhappy in her marriage?
What?
What was her reasoning? Why was she?
I never asked.
You never asked.
I never asked. They went. Well, one woman I met at a trivia night in Philadelphia. She was married to a doctor, the bone doctor.
A bone doctor.
I guess I was the bone doctor. I didn't mean listen.
Isn't that a osteo something?
Yeah, osteopathic.
Osteopathic doctor.
Osteopathic.
Okay, I'd have to text Mom on that one.
Yeah, osteo.
Because she has to correct me about diuretics and everything else I mentioned incorrectly.
I know diuretics and diarrhea and all that stuff.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
you would think so, but whatever. An osteopath.
When I was out with that one, she was always coming on to other guys. She was always coming on to other guys. The one that was married to the doctor, but I never felt, because I knew I wasn't I was gonna go marry her or anything. I mean, the doctor's wife was gonna say, well, I'm gonna leave him for this guy who's not a doctor.
Right. Yeah, she's gonna leave the bone doctor for
the bone doctor.
The bartender.
The bone doctor. I was a bartender.
You were the other bone doctor. Without the MD behind
without the MD. If this was the only episode you listened to, you might think I'm a little taken by myself. I'm not.
Think so.
You have to listen to the other episodes. I really am self-aware. I realized that I wasn't everyone's cup of tea. I realized when I was their cup of tea that sometimes they really liked me. And that's where the bone doctor's wife, at trivia, I just joined her team and stuff. We ended up hooking up. And I'm sure.
Trivia, was it history trivia? And then you won her over because you came across as super nerd?
Oh, I'm a big, healthy looking dude and,
big history nerd.
I'm currently number 13 in the state of Florida on Alexa on Question of the Day. Out of 267. I'm number 13 and I'm moving up in ranks. So I'm thinking I'll be in the top 10 in a week. And but I don't think I'm gonna get to it because it's probably much more pathetic.
Well, you did answer that other question perfectly for Mom the other day about when she asked me what was the play that Abraham Lincoln was watching when he was assassinated.
You know what? The things I know and the things I don't know are amazing.
But it was really because
questions.
You called it My American Cousin. And that's what it was. And Mom was like, oh my God, how do you know that? I said, it wasn't me, it was Jim. Nerd.
That was it. Yeah, kind of a nerd. But bartenders are like that. But when it comes to women and then the other married one, I was running around with her for a little while. The other one, she was a really nice girl. Really nice girl. She was unhappy in her marriage or something like that. And, matter of fact, she was, I always kind of liked her before. I knew her before.
You know, I have to tell you that there's a huge difference between married women that cheat and married men that cheat.
What?
And typically, and this is horrible to say, but it's because of the stereotypical situation, which is so true sometimes. Married men that are that cheat are just afraid to leave their wives because they're going to take half of everything they own.
Yeah.
And married women that cheat are just looking for some type of outwardly happiness because they can't make it on their own, especially the ones that have small children. So it's like, oh, okay, well, so this married...
Neither one of them had small children.
Right, but it's...
Neither one of them had small
typically
children.
That's the situation.
The one I liked a lot was pretty successful on her own.
And then, so what the heck?
She was successful on her own, but she just was unhappy in her marriage.
But, so then why didn't she get out of it then? But,
I think the Bone Doctor one, the guy probably was screwing around on her, and she just went and did her own thing.
Yeah.
But we did veered off the thing where people are out on dates, and especially the first couple dates, when there's a severe asymmetric relationship. I think this is word asymmetric relationship. Mm-hmm. When one person doesn't have that sense of self-esteem, they don't feel so good about themselves when they're out. And they think the other person is too good for them. Maybe. That they got to catch. I knew some guys in Philly. They were pleasant looking guys, but they had knockout girlfriends. And they weren't super wealthy or anything. They were kind of like one of these people, I guess they were gaslighting, where they make them seem, like you're lucky to be with me. And they dominate their life and all the time and all around them and stuff like that. And there were guys, and I was very respectful of that. I always was.
Yeah.
I was, granted that I did date. I'd have to say 2 married women, because the other one was just by accident. I didn't even know she was.
Yeah.
The third one. So there was 2. So I would, after that, when someone's taken, they're taken. So I don't worry about that. And people that go especially in a big city, I don't get it. When people go and snake on someone else's wife. They project, and I'm just going statistically, by 2050, there's going to be 9.7 billion people on this planet. Now, obviously you don't have access to all of them, but with the internet, you have much more further reach than you had before. But I remember in the city of Philadelphia, within a half mile, I couldn't really, in my demographic, when at the ages I was working at, from 25 to 38, I don't think I'd be able to get within a 0.1% of the population, 0.1%. If I was like Wilt Chamberlain or who's the other crazy one? Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
I don't know how. You'd be running into people all the time. And I remember I was with my wife. I was at a wedding. I told you that one at a wedding where there was this drop dead gorgeous woman standing at the bar, and I'm at the wedding with her family. We're sitting at a table, and she's in a cocktail dress, and she's looking over at us, and I'm like, well, at this point, I've been married, so I'm thinking, I don't even look. I don't act like I did. I'm not social. I'm not out there doing it. My shtick.
All right.
And I'm thinking, when this girl's, and my wife goes, that woman's waving at you. And I go, why? I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. I don't know her. I don't. I go like, no, I don't know her. I've never met her. And we go, oh, I go, blah, 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 whatever her name was. And I know the name. I know the name. Because I remember. She was attractive, but then she had lost a little weight too, so she looked different, and her hair was darker. And I go, so-and-so, and my wife, you can see the blood pressure going there. And she goes, when are we going to stop running into these girls you dated?
Oh.
You know, and I said, if we can move. And it was in the same, my stomping grounds. It was Northeast Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So every so often in places we went out and run into them and stuff like that. And it was like...
Kind of like in the Keys.
Well, luckily I didn't do, I had maybe...
You know how, like, a lot of people have...
8 or 9. But I was only single, like, for a year.
Like
a year.
7 degrees of separation, they call it. Whereas, like, in the Keys, it's, like, 2 degrees. It's, like, really fucked up. Like, I could sell a boat to a guy whose sister bought her jet ski for me, whose brother...
Went to high school with you.
Went to high school with my sons.
With the son
and then it's like, and then all of a sudden they're best friends.
But with that thing, like...
Orthopedic doctor is the phone doctor. Orthopedic. Mother is finally answering now. I told her we were recording, so...
Yeah. They should be releasing 2 more episodes this week. Coming up. But just tell her that. We won't say what the episode's on the air because we want to know when. We don't want people to know when it's coming out. We don't want to say the date or anything like that. So, but back then, it's almost like that. During the Crusades or the Middle Ages, they had a chastity belt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they put women in.
It was like a metal diaper with a lock on it.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah, imagine the infections they would get.
Well, imagine the chafing.
The chafing and all that
move.
stuff. And I imagine that they had a trusted servant with the key. And they said they had to wear this when they were by themselves.
Oh, Hoagie says hi, everyone.
Yeah. That they had to wear them, but that I can see these guys would go to battle and they go for battles for years, right? Especially crusade, they go for 2-3 years. What do you think is going to happen? But, every so often, there's how many virgin births can it be? You know what I mean? Mary screwed it up for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So they come back and they go, wait a second. I left 3 years ago and there's a 1-year-old here. How the fuck did that happen? Even then they knew how long it took.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't like an elephant. And I don't blame the women. You gotta go all fighting for a couple of years and stuff like that. What did you expect her to do? What'd they have? It was shamelessly thing, and what the guys are doing, they were raping and pillaging.
Yeah.
Mainly raping. And stuff like that. I'm getting off the thing, but they were very protective. And every time when you're overly protective,
it's usually
you're
for
tilting
a reason.
Your hand.
Like there's some underlying reason.
Because you know how you are.
I think that when there's something new, like when there's something like you can tell when like a relationship is really new and people are just like really just exploring and just being like super over affectionate and just new.
Yeah. Now there's the opposite side of them. You got the fucking swingers that are like, hey, they're trying to sell their goddamn, like on Craigslist. Selling their. We'll talk about Craigslist on the next one.
Yeah,
but they're going to say, check out my wife. Look, I just bought her this thing. And those guys come in here and stuff like that. And they go, hey, and the wife would pull up her shirt and all that stuff. And I go, what? That's not necessarily,
there was a local fellow who I will not name names, who was in, one of the armed services. And while he was stationed and gone for duty somewhere, was made aware that his wife was advertising like $10 BJs in her car. Like $10 BJ in the car.
$10 BJ.
$10 BJ in the car.
What kind of car? A van?
I don't know.
Was it a van?
I have no.
No name.
Far enough away from the microphone. I'm sure he didn't pick that up.
The guy lives down here?
Yeah, and is in some current legal trouble, by the way. But anyway, so while he was like stationed away, came back and discovered that his spouse was not only in bed with somebody else, but had been advertising her services on Craigslist for like
$10.
$10 a shot.
Are you exaggerating or
No.
under-exaggerating?
No, I'm actually being 100% out there.
No,
and
with $10?
$10 a shot.
Oh, this had to be.
Hey, well, for her,
This had to be.
if she did 10 BJs in a night, she made $100, and that paid for whatever her addictions were, I'm guessing.
$10.
Yeah, $10.
It's weird. Everything is so expensive down here. Beer, food. And this was down here? But
Yeah.
$10 blowjob, they didn't have those since the 1980s.
I don't know.
1980s, 1970s in Philadelphia.
I don't know.
You figure,
But
that's what crack.
Hey, maybe she
That's what crack
advertised it
addicts
as
do.
like $10, and then when she got him in the car, it was a little more for a little more. I don't know.
$10.
But that's what she would advertise.
You know,
maybe that's how she got the business.
Maybe the when you advent of Craigslist and all that stuff that you had, you'd have just people the price competition drove the prices down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe she's just dealing. Maybe it's just Craigslist, like it's hoe competition right now.
What this person? What would you rank? What would you rank?
Like,
you ever seen this woman?
Physically in person, no. Photos, yes.
Okay, objectively. Scale of 1 to 10.
Ick.
3?
4.
4 because she was.
4.
Why? Because she wasn't attractive, or because she was?
Because she had hygiene.
What if she was cleaned up? Cleaned up like a pretty woman thing. My Fairly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's the right answer, Tyler. That's
yeah, as my husband walks in.
And it's a shame. You know what? It doesn't reflect on, because there's plenty of guys.
I would say that maybe cleaned up perfectly, maybe a 6.
A real true 6?
Yeah, true 6.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, that's well, that guy being possessive would necessarily he would be. Well, did he have kids with her?
Yes.
Shit. Well, that's just over. When that stuff's it's just over. When someone does that, when a guy cheats on women, we're 23 minutes in. I just got to get to this thing, and this is directly compares to this thing when we talk about Craigslist. Well, but we're going to first. I've listened to this podcast. No, I'm not cutting it short because it's going to cut into what we're talking about. I tripped across this podcast called Welcome to My Podcast.
Yes, welcome to my podcast.
Yeah, out of Iowa.
And welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, and Michele is the host and only the person on it, and she is hilarious. And she does serious subjects. She'll talk about. I've listened to 3 episodes today. Each of them.
All today?
Yeah, they're only 25, 30 minutes long.
Yeah, but you listened to 3 of them in one day.
Yep.
That's awesome, Michele. You're doing awesome.
Well, she'll hear this in a couple. She'll hear this in a couple weeks.
Whatever you catch attention that much, you're doing something right.
Yeah, well, she goes, she has such a congenial way about her. She goes and introduces.
And she is from Iowa.
She doesn't sound like she could be from New York City.
Right.
She could be from New York City. Nowadays.
Oh, so she talks like this?
No. You don't mean cosmopolitan.
I know, I'm teasing.
She has a general, I guess, cosmopolitan, but mid-American attitude, maybe. I don't know. But she goes, hi, welcome to my podcast. This is my podcast. This is my podcast, and you're welcome. Like that. She said that like that. And she was said it even better. So one of the episodes was called, I think it was called Dick Pics.
Dicks.
And it's about a friend of hers who sent her a dick pic.
Oh, God.
I was a best friend at one time, a work friend at one time. And he, when she was at her job and she was their work friend, and she was with this girl that he was currently married to. And when he got married, I guess one night he sent her a dick pic and she just told him she wasn't welcome. I'm paraphrasing what she said. And then, the guy, I think he sends not one, but another, and she expressed it, it was unsolicited. And she goes, I'm doing a podcast and I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I mean, she goes, who are these people that send, and we'll get to talk, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about her podcast in the future, but that one right there, and I thought about that, and I reflected upon when I was single. And she goes, why do guys do that? And I could tell you because I can get into that place now because what do I do? What do I do? What's my thing? I try to tell the truth.
You're very transparent.
I try to tell the truth.
Yes.
So, right now I'm 55 years old. I certainly find other women attractive and stuff like that, but I also have learned the value of being monogamous and loyal. And if you have, a scintilla of honor, you just go into. I'm not saying it's. People do what they're going to do. They have open relationships. That's fine. People have open relationships. I'm okay with that. But, at least, if you're going to go and do it, and, there's certain situations where someone's maybe mentally ill and you have to go and I've seen that thing where people are caregivers for people and stuff like that and they just stay around. They stay around because we're a unit and we got kids and we got to stay around and I understand that. But when you're both healthy and you're working together and they're both, I don't see why you would necessarily need to do it. I know there's an argument against in the mainstream about monogamy, but there is such a thing as being creative and thoughtful and remember these things. It's not all about strange, getting it. But when I thought about me as a single guy or dating.
Okay.
And dating in long-term relationships. We're not married, not engaged. At the time, I realized that technology, you'd have to, dick pics probably originated when you started 2003, 4, and then smartphones 2007. Because they had the flip phones, you could do all that stuff. But sending a dick pic unsolicited to a woman is akin to exposing yourself to someone.
Kinda,
just bringing it out. And I don't remember ever doing that. Ever wanting to do that. Expose myself to someone that didn't
already want to play with this.
Well, no, you have to get a direct affirmative.
Right.
And in the 80s, we didn't do this thing, the process of affirmative acceptance to sex, where you go and say, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this act? Do you want to do that? And go and do this. But I worked that in, that was my whole method when I was younger. I would just, that's how I worked it because girls said, boy, he's real thoughtful. He asked me every time, do you want to go back to the room? I'd be forward about it.
Right.
Do you want to go and do this?
But then.
And that was part of my whole thing. But I don't know what it would be like before. That was part
of your forte of being a polite gentleman.
No. You're mismeaning. That was my style. Which is different than my forte being polite gentleman.
Okay.
I mean, that was my style where I go and find out ahead of time so I didn't have to go. And I always thought, it's a yes or no question. If it's a no, why am I spending extra time with you? Not money. Why am I spending extra time? You just go, when things are moving along, saying, do you want to go back? Do you want to go and do this?
And they're like, no.
And they go like this, no. And then, okay, thank you.
Okay,
you go like this. And sometimes they were pretty abrupt about it, or sometimes they were demurred about it, and you'd hang out a little while, and you could lose the whole night, and nothing happened. You never force it.
Of course
you never force it.
Then you would
but I'm
be
not saying that I'm not going to call the other guys. Well, it's close to rape when you go. When someone says no, it's fucking no.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking no. And the unsolicited dick pic, no. But at the time, what I'm saying was I thought about it. If a girl asked me for one, and I was
would you have
attracted.
sent it?
I don't know, because I was drinking. What happens when you drink? Your inhibitions are lowered, right? They're lowered. They're lowered.
True, but it's in our time frame. I mean, I get that you have a little bit on me.
No, I had not. I wasn't
But-
in a time where it was so accessible and so easy.
Right.
So I didn't have it. I had a couple relationships, and we didn't have the cell phone relationships prior to Abby. So I wasn't broached by that. And as a younger man, I don't know. People can coax you into getting a picture of your cock, coax you for a cock. And guys coax girls they do that. They do that to young girls too. And you say, hey, Shemmy, send me some pictures. And they go, do never. And you know what? I know. I do have some listeners in Gainesville and stuff like that. If you do listen, young ladies, it's not going to make you any more attractive to a guy sending a picture.
No.
I
will tell you this, that if you ever
did have pictures sent to me. If
you ever do send pictures
recently.
to anyone, make sure your face isn't in them.
But it can still almost identify you because where it comes from. You got a tag on your number.
So what?
Well, now they can.
At least don't put your face in it, because then it's not going to become like some internet sensation. And then,
Yeah.
like just don't ever do that. If you are so like young, horned up and wild, and you want to send a pic,
if you're doing a relationship,
just don't put your face in there.
I had a friend in college that used to show me pictures of all his girlfriends.
Yeah.
And I go,
and they use them as trophies.
I would not.
These guys.
There's none of the girls I've seen. I mean, it's like, I've been with her. I'm going like, well, I mean, I point him out. I said, I used to date her, but if I had a picture of her, I don't think I'd ever
I don't think that you would show that to every single dude in your dude group.
I never did. I did have a couple pictures where someone gave me pictures, real pictures. And I'm like, God, you went to the trouble of going to, what was it called back then? A photomat. You had to go to a fucking photomat for those.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And someone saw it. Someone fucking saw it. Unless I don't think they had known. And back then, instead of, nowadays you make your playlist for somebody. But back when you had to make a mixtape for somebody, that was work. I had several mixtapes made for me, right? And I'll tell you, when someone goes through days of making a mixtape for you, holy shit. Right? Yeah, you just go, once you see it years later, if I could have just said it, saved that mixtape, it's like, oh, well, it's like a card. But express, because a mixtape is raw emotion and stuff like that. Now, a playlist, people can have a playlist and you can mix it up and stuff like that, and you just move to this, and then go, here's your mixtape. I made a mix for you. Well, fuck, man, it took you 5 minutes.
There was a funny one about that.
And someone said,
like, were these best friends? It was a movie that had Ashton Kutcher in it and Natalie Portman in it, and she was like a doctor or something. And she hooked up with this guy as a one night stand, but they ended up being like really close friends, but they like just, humped on the side, kind of just friends with benefits. But not that movie, not Friends with Benefits movie, but it was something else. And he made her a mixtape for her period.
Oh, yeah?
And it was funny because like every single song was like Sunday, Bloody Sunday, and like all this others. And the guy went through all the time to do that for her when she was going through her menses.
I don't like Mondays. That'd be a good one. Manic Monday. Bloody Sunday's a good one. No, but when you send, when I'm saying, well, we got to the mixtapes and we were talking about Dick Pics.
Yeah.
And that isn't if someone sends you, if you get an unsolicited, if someone sends you a photograph and it doesn't have a description of what it is, and if you don't know who the person is, you don't have to open it.
Sure.
On this show, I was talking about Michelle's show, Welcome to My Podcast. One of the episodes, some guy who she knew sent a tape in, and she played someone's tape And it wasn't as good as her quality of way she spoke. Naturally, she's better. She's on her 50th episode, 54th episode.
Yeah.
God damn it. I have almost 200 hours. 200 hours. So it's 50. And the one she was on a previous podcast and they did 3-4 episodes and someone steamrolled her. She was steamrolling them. She said that the one primary person didn't take any input from them. Like that. So she decided to do her own. I can't imagine what this other person's podcast was. I mean, no way it could be better than hers. So, but she played this guy 6-minute tape about how he talked about how he was a young father and he thought that porn was a poor representation of sexuality for men because they didn't see affirmation or they didn't see the romantic lead up. They just saw this thing. Hey, I think I like you. And then start going at it where the girl just unzips the guy's pants and starts going at and just going at it. I know, this is what the guy said. The guy's a father of a daughter, and he just doesn't think some guys don't have an accurate. You ever hear the incel movement? I told you about the incel movement, right?
I think so.
Did we not discuss this?
I'm not sure.
It's the involuntary celibate movement. And there's certain people that say they're involuntary celibate, and it's almost...
That just means they don't get none.
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
It's 100%, but they have a whole following. They believe they have names for women and men. Guys are... They got women that are Stacy's, and the other that are Candies, and Candies are super hot, and they only go out with Chads. And I guess I'm a Chad.
Okay.
Right? And then there's a bunch of people in the middle who see each other, right? And then, I call myself a Chad.
I was still trying not to laugh about it.
But they're in the 10 to 15% bottom that they are enticed by everyone. They call the ones Cindy's, maybe Cindy's. And Cindy's are like somewhat, they wear sweatpants to hide their thing. And they like the Chads. They aspire to be with the Chads, but they won't be with these other guys, whatever their names are. And stuff like that. But they end up settling for someone in the middle. Right? Okay. They have this whole thing. And their belief is that in order to maintain the status quo, there has to be people that are willing to give themselves to them. To just give it up. You believe that shit? They have no... one of the guys getting killed, there's a couple of the mass murderers, or the recent ones, were incels. Avowed incels. The involuntary celibates. Mm-hmm. People that want to, and they get angry, and they go after these people.
It's like that the guy that kidnapped the girl from Wisconsin, Jamie Kloss. Mm-hmm. And all he wanted her to do was just love him.
But there's a bunch of, you know what? There's plenty of there's incels, and then there's just fucking jerks. There's guys that are probably pretty good looking, but they never developed the chat. The guys that, just go, oh, fuck them, this girl, she should be lucky to be with me and stuff like that. Now, that's not an incel. This guy's just a rapist. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some crazy bastard just going out there and doing that.
What number are we on? We're on 185. So 186, we are going to have Papa Joe as a special guest.
Oh, he's coming over?
He is.
That's what we talk about? Okay, good. So we'll go in. We'll discuss some of this. How
many minutes are we at right now?
We're at 40.
We're at 40 minutes. So can I do a couple of minutes of a little bit of girl power?
Let me just say yes.
Just a little bit of girl power.
Say yes.
Well, yes. Because here's the cool thing is that now that I'm in my 40s, right?
Yep.
And I'm a tough girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a smart girl.
Yep. A mother.
There are
to polite gentlemen.
Yeah.
To gentlemen.
To gentlemen. I have got an employee that just impresses me lately.
Impresses you?
Impresses me. A very
Really?
young girl. Yep, very young girl. And, I mean, I shouldn't even say very young. She's 29? Almost 29.
No, that's not very young.
But,
I call it a young woman. I call it a young woman.
She is a young woman. And she's beautiful.
What did she do?
She technically was my receptionist, and then she was promoted into doing some accounts payable, receivable. And then we had her start doing a bunch of work with the title work. You know, if you buy something, it needs a license plate, it needs a title, things like that. And now we have promoted her again to an assistant to sales, as well as myself.
This is at Reba.
Yes, this is at Reba and Amy. This is Amy, and I just love her to death. Her name's Amy, and she is just a sweet, sweet girl. And she tries so hard, and she takes little notes. And she's a 3-time learner, right? And I've learned how she learns, so that's how I teach her everything. And I've been training her with learning all these new things and doing all these new things. And this girl, she has girl power. And I'm so proud of her for it.
What impresses you most about her, other than her learning ability? And I mean, just saying girl power. What have you seen that does that?
That she has girl power, and that's what impresses me about her. Because if you think about it, girl power is like this: she supports other women. She thinks that other women are beautiful. She thinks that other women are wonderful, and if she can back you up, or give you a break, or do anything to step in to help you out, she was there for
She's supportive.
She's very supportive, and I think she's awesome for that. And her birthday's coming up next weekend, and she's the one that goes out and gets birthday cakes for every one of these guys that work for us and all these people. She's the one that always goes over and above that you never ask her to do. And so I'm excited about that, because I was going to...
She doesn't burn herself out, because, you got to take care of yourself sometimes.
She does. She takes her time off. She takes her time off. She does her thing. But it's difficult for me, because I'm not a ladies' girl, right? I'm a gearhead.
But you got girlfriends. You got girlfriends. I met them in there.
I have very few. Very, very few.
They're good girlfriends.
The few that I do hang out with are very choice few.
Yeah.
And Amy is just got this whole, all giving power to just support other people and just be there for them. And I just wanted to give her a little bit of a shout out, because
we spoke about the women's, we talk about the women's soccer team and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I have a grand of my stepdaughter,
Amy's
Sky, and then
gold.
I don't have it. Hey, listen, if you're comfortable enough, and this is where incels don't quite get it, in the guys that are in that movement. If you're confident, and it rolls back to what we said about being protective and possessive.
Absolutely.
If you are confident in yourself and realize there's someone out there for you, and that you're a good person, and you're not intimidated by the presence of other comfortable, strong people around you, you should not have fear of that, and you should be supportive of every good person.
I will tell you this too.
Remember Dickens?
Absolutely.
Dickens always, Charles Dickens, and I know it's going to be a loose comparison of this, but in A Christmas Carol, and this is one thing, you had the miser, everything for himself. But at the end, when he opened up, he realized that the brotherhood of man, that how he was tied to other people, and how to be supportive, how he supported Tiny Tim, Bob Cratchit, his nephew, everyone, forgiving the loans and stuff like that, about being magnanimous and open to that.
Yeah.
And women have to do it because there's guys that actively don't.
No.
And women have to actively do that
and
to be proactive against the
right.
And guys get defensive about it. They think we're going to lose our thing. You know what? If you're strong enough, you got skills and stuff like that, you're not going to lose any ground. You're just going to shine more, because you're going to be supportive of people that are looking to achieve things.
Now, typically, I don't have a whole lot of female friends because, especially if you were to go back to my 20s, for example, it's a jealousy thing. I get along better with their husbands or boyfriends than I do with them. I'm not fickle. I don't wear makeup. I'm not worried about, you know, all that drama. I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather go out in the shed and work on the boat motor. I'd rather go out and play with the car. I'd rather go do something cool. I don't want to sit back and worry about what color my hair is that day. That's not the kind of girl that I am. So, but even though Amy is a very girly girl, and she's just a pretty little thing, super supportive of like anything that I am into, any other female, she is a girl's girl. And I think that's really cool because a lot of the girls that I've run into over all the years have just been jealous and fickle. They don't like me because their boyfriends like me better. Right? Or because their husbands like me better. Because I can talk garage talk. I can tell you why your carburetor's leaning out. I can tell you, you know, whether or not you just blew an alternator in my parking lot at Reba yesterday, which happened to a customer. And I had to go outside and help this guy out. But this girl is just super giving of her like whole heart and her whole soul, especially to other women. And I just want to compliment her for that because I think it's really cool.
Well, let's dedicate this episode to Amy. Here's to Amy.
Here's
Toast
to Amy.
Amy.
Toast Amy.
Yep.
Team.
That is great.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what? When I get quiet, it's because I get reflective and because I'm learning something about that. And we all have something. I'm not saying I'm better because I learned them.
Well, Amy's the shit. She's 100% my girl. I just love her to pieces.
To Amy and Michelle.
Amy and Michelle.
And we'll make a mention of that again. Okay, we're rolling into 46 or 47 minutes.
Okay, so I took up
which is
more
fine.
than 2 minutes.
So what? I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't have a limited amount of time. We can go 52.
Yeah,
but now we can take a break.
Yeah, we can.
We're going to ask you once again. We are rolling into the 20th. I wanted to give an update. Wait, we're rolling into. We need a couple more reviews.
Oh,
let's get some reviews on iTunes, Spreaker, whatever your main.
iTunes, Spreaker, whatever your medium is.
I am so bad. I've been trying to leave. I gotta leave. I gotta go to. I'm gonna take Michelle's. I gotta do Michelle's.
You need to go on Michelle's and leave her a good review for iTunes.
I think we should too.
Spreaker, absolutely.
I think. Because
I gotta go listen to her.
She is good. She is so
I'm
good.
Excited.
I mean, someday we're gonna when I figure out how to do the on call one, we'll do it where I can. I'm looking at this connection right over here.
Yeah.
See this connection over here? See this one thing here?
Jim's looking at his power board right now.
No, my soundboard. My soundboard.
Which is sitting on top of a pizza box at
Well,
the
that's
moment.
our protection from
any rain
pouring a beer. Well, beer. Rain. I throw it, if it's raining, I throw it inside.
This is the water protrusion prevention.
Yeah. But I'm also looking at the plug, and I'm saying, if we were going to do a Skype call, which I can do a Skype call here, I got to get the headphones in. So you can hear it, and then I've thought processed the whole thing. I am so technically.
It's okay.
I know, but I'm still figuring out how to do it. It's amazing. It's amazing we get the. I said, here's a guy that knows shit. I mean, when I was a kid, I built my own speakers from Radio Shack to make a little sound system in my thing, and then all of a sudden,
and now we record like 38 minutes.
I don't know.
I
think when I started getting boners and stuff like that, I forgot all the electronics things. I was going to be. I mean, I said Jim's going to be an electrical engineer. He's going to invent the new power grid or something like that. But no. Jim invented a new way to pick up girls.
Jim's sound box is on top of a pizza box.
Yeah. But we're going to be able to do a Skype call for them.
Ocean at the bar right now.
Yeah, but leave a review. That would appreciate. I would like to thank again 43 Keys Media. We're gonna end this right now. I'm gonna go and hit the sound.
We're going out.
Here we go. I'm leaving, man.
All right, bye. Bye.
I didn't put the music on it, so the volume's on low.
Okay, so we have to say bye again.
No,
yeah, we're good now.
Now they hear.
Oh, okay. Bye.
I'm gonna bring it back. Bring it down low.